Did you know that Valve at one point added an item into TF2 that accidentally started a huge scam method? Back in 2015, there was an item that got added into the game called the festivizer. I've talked about this item before, but for those of you who don't know, this item allowed you to take a normal weapon that was already in your inventory and turn it into a festivized version of itself. Which, to start with, was a really cool concept and allowed people to get festive versions of weapons they had already been using without having to reset their kills or shell out a lot of money for the proper festive versions. It also allowed you to make certain festive weapons that didn't already exist, and it was actually really cool to start with. However, at some point, Valve changed the festivizers so they can actually work on stock weapons as well, and that small change really started to cause a lot of issues. Before we get into why this was a problem though, I just want to explain to you the difference between festives and festivized items. Festive weapons are the quality of weapons that you open from the naughty winter crates from 2011 to 2014. These items are festive items, and you can only get them from these crates. Festivized items, on the other hand, are the ones you get from using the festivizer item on a normal weapon, making that unique item a festivized version of that weapon. They are not the same, and the festive items tend to cost a lot more. It became clear very quickly that there was a problem. These items were brand new, and a lot of people really didn't know how to recognize them, which honestly, I don't blame them for. I believe at the start as well, the thumbnail images in the trades actually looked ridiculously similar for most of these weapons. I think the only way you could tell the scattergun was different was because the festivized item faced the other way. If you don't know much about trading, you're not going to know that. And that is basically how this scam worked. They were preying on the fact that people didn't understand these new festivized items and wouldn't always really closely check their trades. They were basically tricking their victim into believing they were getting a strange festive version of an item like a medigun or a scattergun, which both cost a lot of money individually since they're very old items and they're also very, very rare. But what these victims instead were getting when they finished their trades was a festivized version of that weapon, which only really costs however much the festivizer cost and then the strange weapon price. This scam attempt actually turned into quite a dangerous thing, so much so that a bunch of people in the community began to call this scam out. I saw a few Reddit posts about it, and Pyro Joe even released a video about the details of the scam, and the comments on that video made it pretty clear that this wasn't a scam method that everyone was aware of. A lot of the comments even saying that they probably would have fallen for it if they got offered something like it. So no, this scam method isn't a new scam method, but it's something that people still attempt to pull off to this day. I can guarantee within the last few years, I have got quite a lot of these trades, and by that point, it was already a very old scam. Just like most scams, if you're paying a lot of attention, this scam isn't dangerous, but a lot of people, if you didn't even know festivized strange stock weapons exist, you'll see that in the trade and think, okay, that's a strange festive scattergun, like what else could it be? But if you hover over it, it will say festivized, and you'll realize you're being scammed. I feel like I've been saying this for years, but the best ways to avoid pretty much any kind of scam, including scams like this one, is to just take your time. Check each and every single item if you have to make sure that what you're looking at is exactly what you think you're looking at. There's so many scam methods like this one that can be avoided if you just take your time. Now, I've been trying to figure out if Valve have done this with any other kind of item, adding them into the game without realizing the effects they could have on the trading economy within TF2. Now, I'd have to say a similar example, though not one that caused a huge scam attempt, was when Valve added unusual fires and basically ended up killing off the price of any of the unusual taunts in the game. Annoying if you had a bunch of the taunts already and you spent a lot of money on them, but actually pretty good if you were just a normal person who wanted loads of unusual taunts without spending a lot of money. That's pretty much the only reason I own as many unusual taunts as I do. I guess that has kind of ruined the special feeling that unusual taunts had, but again, that's a topic for another video. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching the video. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure you leave this video a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye.